Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Lauren and today we are in my third grader's room. We are checking out the books that she has read this year. Disclaimer, the audio in here is not great, so I do apologize for the quality of the audio in this video. I hope you can look past that or listen past that and still enjoy this video. So I know that books, especially amongst homeschoolers, can be very polarizing. So people range right from, hey, you know, if it's a book, my child can read it, all the way to I look through every single thing they read and I am very vigilant about it and they can only read certain types of books, or like you go off certain types of lists, you know, and there's everything in between. So I want to just preface this by saying you have to do what you feel is right for your children and your family, and if you are in one of those extremes or somewhere in the middle, to me that is totally fine. I am not here to say read this, don't read that. Oh my gosh, I thought I saw a ghost. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, I am not here to say read this, don't read that. Like to me, that's what up to, if you're a believer, that's what the Holy Spirit is for. I am not the Holy Spirit. I just want to share books that my daughter has read. Most of them I love and are good with. There's a few in there who I'm like, after she read them, I'm like, oh, hold on. I don't really love that and I wouldn't buy it again. And I do screen them first now because she has read a few that afterwards I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really love it. Nothing super offensive, but just books that I was just like, if given the choice, I wouldn't have her read again or have read in the first place. So I do screen them a little bit just to kind of to go through and make sure that there's no underlying themes that I personally don't agree with. So with that said, I mean, if you don't agree with all these books, that's fine. I understand. There's things that I see that I don't always agree with, and that's fine. I just want to share what we're doing, what she's doing. Now, some of these books she did get in second grade, so she had started reading some of these in second and in third grade, but this is not all inclusive of everything she's read. She's had library books and then books from downstairs in our schoolroom, and then she has a little separate faux bookshelf right with a few books that she has yet to read right now. So we're gonna get started with this first, and they are organized by series up here and a little down here, and then these are all in alphabetical order. I did not request this. I did not make her do this. This is just who she is, firstborn child. Don't get me wrong, I am all about organization and I love organization. However, she is just at a completely different level than I am. To each their own. She loves everything alphabetized and in numerical order, and you know, more power to her. So let's just get started with what we have first. First up, we have, I'm just gonna grab the series here, the Anne of Green Gables series. Now, I got this series for her, this set for her at Costco last Christmas, and she is on the last book, book 8. She really enjoys these. She has taken her time with them, and she is almost finished with this series. Next, we have, this is the C.S. Lewis Chronicles of Narnia. These are well loved. She got these from my mother-in-law. I think they were given to her. She has read through these, and since book 1 is missing, I think she's reading through the series again, but she really loves this. She really loves fantasy, so this was perfect. The Chronicles of Narnia, she really loved. Next, we have, this is the Little House Collection. She got this as a gift from my mother-in-law this past Christmas, so about 6 months ago, and I think she's read all of them. She loves Little House. Are you really a homeschooler if you don't read Little House on the Prairie? I'm totally kidding. If you don't, it's fine. She loves this. We watch the show at night. They just love Little House. So would recommend this as well. The Who Was series. Now, this I got last Christmas from Costco. This was $50 for 25 of these. So $2 a piece. I couldn't pass it up. I knew she loved Who Was. She had rented some from the library, and we've gotten a few here and there. So this is so heavy too. So she really loves Who Was. This is not even inclusive of like all of our other ones. We have a bunch more downstairs in the schoolroom. And then I just bought them a bunch more at the end of the year. It's kind of like an end of the year present. So she has read through all of these. These even are in alphabetical order. Oh dear. So she's not only read all of these, she's reading through them again because she loves it. And I would recommend this. This is the What is America series. I probably should have said that first. And so this includes, oh my goodness, a lot. Abraham Lincoln, Amelia Earhart, Boston Tea Party, Cesar Chavez, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Eleanor Roosevelt, the first Thanksgiving, Grand Canyon, the Great Depression, George Washington, Lewis and Clark, what is the March on Washington, Mount Rushmore, Neil Armstrong, Pearl Harbor, Statue of Liberty, who was Sitting Bull, Sojourner Truth, what were the Twin Towers, what was the Underground Railroad, the Wild West, White House, and the Women's Rights Movement. So she has, and not only does she read it, she's retained a lot of the information. And so like this past year when we were doing history, American history, there was, we would come across subjects and she's like, oh yeah, I already know that. Or she'd like recite these facts and like, how do you know that? Oh, this is from my Who Was book. And she just spurts it out like a little computer. I mean, I'm sure you've already gotten Who Was books, but if I'm not sure if this is still available, but if you ever come across this, this is a really good resource for American history. Next, so this book we got at a garage sale. It's Pax. It's about a little fox grows up with this boy, but then the boy, the dad or grandfather was like, you gotta send the fox back into the wild. So she loves this. She said this is her favorite book. I think it was like 50 cents or $1 at a garage sale. There's a few of these. These are called Rainbow Magic. These are like the pet fairies. They're just quick reads. They're like 60 pages. Her and my younger daughter, who's in first grade, likes to read them. I feel like, I mean, some people are a little bit like about, you know, fairies and magic and things like that, and I understand. So if that is something that doesn't jive with you, then, you know, I'll by all means skip it. They just, again, really like fantasy. So, I mean, I make sure to explain like, this isn't real. And they're like, yeah, we know, Mom, of course. So they really like those. There's probably, I don't even know, 20, 30, 40 of these different in this little series. So they really like it because they love animals and pets. Next in the group of books, okay, so this Junie B. Jones, like, I really don't love that she has an attitude and calls things, you know, says stuff that my girls aren't allowed to say, like dumb and that type of thing. So I closely explain like her attitude is not okay, and we don't talk like this. Like, she's kind of not always nice. Don't take her as an example, that type of thing. And they again say, yes, we know. So I wouldn't buy these anymore, honestly. I just wouldn't. I don't really. They like them, but I personally don't. However, it's not a thing that I am like, no, they're getting burned. In conclusion, Junie B. Jones, if you and your children have not read them, I wouldn't start. Just pass. There's a lot of other books. They read them, and I wouldn't get any more, honestly. Books that I would recommend, Boxcar Children. I loved these growing up. Now, I was not a huge reader growing up, unfortunately. But these are some of the books that I read growing up. So I got these books about a year ago, I think last summer. Yeah, I ordered like 20 of them from eBay and I got a great deal on them. I don't remember how much I paid, but it wasn't more than like $1 per book, including shipping. That's where I recommend going for books. Thrift Book, eBay, even like the Facebook Marketplace. Those are the best, obviously. I'm sure you already knew that, but I try to get them there. So she flew through all of these books. I think there's like 20 of them. If I come across more in the future, I will get that. Thumbs up for the Boxcar Children. Make sure I get this in the right place. Number 4. We have 2 number 4s. They're both different titles. I don't understand that. Next we have James and the Giant Peach, classic. I read this in 3rd grade. I think she read this in, okay. I read this in 3rd grade. I remember this vividly because this is supposed to be a book report I was doing, and it was like due that morning, I think. I can't remember that part, but like, I just remember it was due, I was getting ready for school, and my mom was like asking me questions about what happened, and I had no idea. I totally just skim read it the whole, like, I think 3/4 of the way through the book. I had no idea what was going on, and she was not happy with me. So anyway, my daughter actually read James and the Giant Peach, and she really liked it. And then next we have Leah. This is an American Girl series. She goes to Brazil, I think. So there's 3 parts of this, and she loved these. She loved reading these. Light It, Turn Rock. We read this for a library group. It was fine. It was okay. Mercy Watson. These are really cute. You can get these everywhere. These were just like at Target. I'm sure they're at Barnes & Noble, anywhere. We have Mick Schrock. This was, she got this at, like, I think she bought this at the Awana store. And anyway, it's an Adventures of an Arctic Missionary, book 1. So this is a series. She has not asked to get asked about if there's any more, but she definitely did like this one. And then The Princess and the Goblin. This was written, I want to say, like over 100 years ago. Her and my mom bought this for her, and they were supposed to read it together, and they did. I mean, she read this, and then my mom read it separately, and then they were supposed to kind of collaborate. She read this in like 2nd grade. It was, I think she understood it, but I think it was a little bit over her head. So she has this, and I will say she'll probably read this again in the future, but this is an allegory. So it's along the lines of like Chronicles of Narnia or Pilgrim's Progress. It's something like that, and it has godly, like, underlying themes. So I think it's pretty good. Again, my mom recommended it and bought it and looked into it, so I trust her. And so that was pretty good. Next we have The Secret Garden. This I picked up a few years ago. There was 4 of them at Michael's, actually. They were $1. They are an abridged version. And so there was The Secret Garden. There was, oh shoot, Moby Dick, something about wolves. It's the one with the wolves. Forget. Anyway, there was 4 of these, and so she chose to read this one. Again, it's a bridge, so it was a little bit easier to read, and she liked that. That is pretty much it as far as chapter books go. I won't show you like the picture books and things like that, but I also have another little pile over here. So this is a different pile because she's running out of room here, and she likes this decoration. She won't use this for book storage, but we have more books that she got for last day of school, Who Was Books. This we got at a garage sale for like $1. So this is a very sweet and heartwarming story, but I read what it was about, and she got this when she was like 7 or 8, and so I was like, it's probably just a little bit too mature for you. So it's been sitting here. She hasn't read it yet. It's about a dog who was in dog fighting and got obviously like a little bit damaged, I guess you could say. And so he finds a family, and I'm sure it's very sweet at the very end, but she has not read this yet. She wants to. Next was, this is really cute, The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. Once there was a China rabbit named Edward Tulane. The rabbit couldn't move or speak, but he could watch and listen. It was very pleased with himself and his owner and his house. And then one day he was lost. Speaking of lost, here we have Lost and Found. She got this at a garage sale as well. Can you tell we like garage sales? It's about a lady, and her husband passes away, and she's obviously very upset, but then she finds this Labrador, black lab, and they become quick best friends. Next we have book 1 and book 2 of Harry Potter. These came from my sister this Christmas. if it was up to her own devices, these would have already been both read and she would be on to more books in the chapter. But her and my husband are reading it together, and so they kind of take their time with it. They don't get to read it every day, but they're almost finished with book 1, and it's just a sweet bonding time that they have together. They take turns going back and forth, and it's just time for them to read it and talk about what's going on, and then when they're finished reading the book, they're gonna watch the movie together. Side note, disclaimer, Harry Potter is not my thing. I tried to watch them a few years ago with my husband. I'm just not a fantasy person at all, unfortunately, which is like, that's their cup of tea. It is not mine. So they all can enjoy that together. I will watch You've Got Mail. Next, almost finished, we had the Unwanted Puppy, which my little daughter Lola gave to her for Christmas. I don't even remember that. And then the Mystery Kitten, and I guess she likes these okay. They're pretty cute. They look pretty cute and innocent. Lastly, we were recently at a garage sale, surprise, surprise, and I came across these books that looked I just loved the front. And I know they say don't judge a book by a cover, but these covers looked beautiful. And so the lady who was selling them was telling me about them, and she was saying how they are about a pastor who moves to a small town, and there's like different side stories of the townspeople and the community, and you know, just little things that happen there. And then eventually, a few books in, he finds a lady and they get married, and so it just talks about like his life and their life together. She said they're really sweet, but they're also like good morals. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, that sounds really great. So there's, I think, 9 books in this series. I only see 8 here, but I think she's reading the first one. And it was like $7 for these books. And I think she's liking them so far. I think I'm actually gonna get into reading these as well because they look pretty good, and I need some fiction in my life. I read a lot of nonfiction. I need some fiction. So I think I'm actually gonna read these alongside of her as well. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have read any of these books, or if any of them are on your list to read, or if you spotted some new ones today. Also, make sure that you tell me what your 3rd grader or 4th grader or whatever grader is reading, so that maybe I could get some ideas, because my daughter is always looking for new books to read and she would love suggestions from fellow homeschoolers. We both would, actually. So leave a comment below to tell me what you are reading as well. Thank you so much for being here. I truly do appreciate it. I hope you have such a wonderful day. Until next time.